Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Nelson, and today I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity to talk with Emma Plank. Her multidisciplinary approach to child development has helped doctors, teachers, psychologists, and social workers find a common language together. Today we are going to focus on and learn about her life while she was in Europe and in her early years in America. Emma, would you be able to elaborate to the viewers who are unfamiliar with child life and give them a quick overview of the profession?
Yeah, absolutely, Maggie. So, child life specialists work with families and hospitals in alternative settings to help them cope with the challenges that they may face while they're hospitalized, as well as illness and other disabilities. They also provide information, support, and guidance to parents and other family members as well as their siblings.
That's so cool. And if you don't mind me asking, before we jump into your life about Europe, what are some possible alternative settings that you would see a child life specialist working in other than hospitals?
Yeah, just a few to name off the bat. They could work in schools, hospice care, funeral homes, camps. They could also work with children that have faced natural disasters, which is a great opportunity if anybody has the chance to do that. And there's also other programs out there that child life specialists could be involved in.
Oh, that's super interesting. I would not imagine child life specialists in natural disasters.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So first off, with the questions about Europe, would you be able to give the viewers an idea of what your childhood was like?
Yeah, absolutely. So my full name is Emma Caroline Spira. But I had a childhood nickname, which people always called me, which was Nasushi.
Oh, Nasushi?
Yeah.
Nice!
Yeah, but I was born in Vienna in 1905 and have wonderful Jewish parents, Emil Spira, who was a civil servant, and Doris Langbin, who was a seamstress.
Wow.
I also have a younger brother named Leopold. He was a socialist, activist, and writer, and he also volunteered in the International Brigade during the Spanish Civil War. In my younger days, I had an opportunity to travel among several European countries, which was a very cool
that sounds
experience.
awesome.
Yeah. And my parents also sent me to a summer camp in the mountains, which was established by Jurgen. He was a renowned educational reformer, social worker, and an art salon figure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And with that being said, would you be able to kind of give the viewers kind of the education experience you had in Europe?
Yeah. So in 1924, I completed courses at Montessori, which is located in Amsterdam, and in 1927 in Berlin, I got my diploma from the International Montessori Training Program and a certificate from the Australian Federal Teachers College.
Wow. Holy cow. Congratulations.
Thank
you. And I know you probably get this question a lot, but when did you become interested in working with children? And what opportunities did you have allowing you to explore more with children?
It's a great question. It's kind of the basis on why I became a child life specialist. So when I was a teenager, I really started becoming passionate about working with kids for some reason. I've always wanted to. But I was also one out of 5 girls to be chosen to volunteer and live at the first Vienna Montessori school. While I was there, I really got to gain a lot of information from Dr. Montessori himself by going and visiting. And he came and visited the schools weekly. Mm-hmm. As well as Anna Freud would also give seminars bi-weekly on the application of psychoanalytic theory to the education of young children.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
So with that being said, some viewers are probably not very familiar with Anna Freud. Mm-hmm. Would you be willing to kind of give a little summary of who she is and what happened and all that?
Yeah, so she was a British psychoanalyst, and she was one of the 6 kids of Sigmund Freud and Martha Bernays, and obviously Sigmund Freud was also a huge part of child life. Mm-hmm. She followed the path of her father by studying the field of psychoanalysts, and she also wrote a book about it. And she's always been a huge influence on everything I do and all the work I do and what I'm continuing to do today.
Oh, that's awesome. She sounds amazing. And with kind of going back about your families, what made you and your husband relocate back to Europe in the late 1940s?
So I was invited from the head of special projects of the American Friends Service Committee in Vienna, which kind of just a background of, like, their overall goal.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really trying to establish a progressive kindergarten like the original Haus-Day Kinder, and to teach the kindergarten teachers there more about child development and psychoanalysts and stuff like that.
And going back with your husband again, did you guys do any volunteer work together? And if so, would you give us an example?
Yeah, so one that really sticks out to me that we did together, we worked with and volunteered with the Biscayne children refugees from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
First, a little of background about people who might not know about them.
Mm-hmm.
So these Spanish war children were shipped to Britain, Belgium, Soviet Union, and other European countries along with Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So they were embarked on boats chartered by the Biscayne government who were loyal to the Republic. So those from the Western Europe countries were able to return to their families after war.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, those in the Soviet Union and from the communist families were forbidden by Stalin and by Franco to go back to their families. So that's kind of like where I worked with those kids.
Yeah. And so now going back, or going and talking about your time in America, the first question we have for you is, what did you and your husband, or when did you and your husband decide to immigrate to the U.S.?
Yeah, so we decided in, like, the late 1930s, I think it was, like, 1938, is when we immigrated to the U.S. and loved California, so we moved to San Francisco, where I had gotten my first job in Oakland and became an attendant at an orphanage.
Wow. And Emma, would you be able to elaborate on your friend Josefina Whitney Juvenek? I'm sure you can pronounce her last name way better than I can. And how you guys crossed paths?
Yeah, so I was really kind of, like, interested in her work, and I'd met her by working at the orphanage, like I said before. And she was a humanitarian, an environmental activist, and a refugee advocate who ran the private progressive Presidio Hill School, which is super cool.
Wow, she's super interesting. And one of our last questions I have for you is, after you and your husband returned to America after you visited Europe, did you hold the same job, or did you leave the job and find a different job, or?
Well, Maggie, like I said before, I'm very interested in psychoanalysts, so when I returned to America, I landed a job at the Children's House of University of Cleveland, where it had the first preschool ever to use psychoanalysts to help children with their developmental needs. So that's just kind of like the basis of how I really begun child life and, like, gained that respect for the profession. Wow,
that's that's awesome, Emma. It's been really awesome to interview you and kind of learn a little bit more about you. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to answer these questions based on your life in America as well as your days in Europe. I really hope that this opens some eyes to the viewers who are interested in this profession and got a better understanding of what it really is, and as well as the hard work it takes to get there, as you can see. But thank you again, Emma.
Yeah, no problem.
I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And tune in next week when we have another guest, Eric Erickson.
Who is very important to child life.
He is. Bye, guys.
Bye.